Hello and welcome back. I'm Mr. Luis, and in today's lesson we're starting a brand new topic, the cognitive approach. This approach focuses on something we all do every day, thinking. But more than that, it's about how we take in information, how we process it, and how we respond. So what exactly does that mean? Imagine your brain is like a computer. It receives inputs, such as sights, sounds, or smells. It then processes this information through thinking, decision-making, and memory. Finally, it gives an output, maybe a spoken word, a physical action, or an emotional reaction. This is called the information processing model. Cognitive psychologists study how this mental processing works. For example, they want to know how we remember things, how we solve problems, how we make decisions, and even how we pay attention in class. Let's take a simple example. If someone asks you what you ate for lunch yesterday, you need to retrieve that memory. First, your brain had to encode the experience, what you saw, smelled, and tasted. Then it had to store that information, and finally, when asked, you had to retrieve it. That whole process is what cognitive psychology is interested in. There are a few main ideas you need to know. First, input is how we take in information through our eyes, ears, and skin, for example, detecting movement or hearing a sound. Next, processing is what our brain does with that information. This includes thinking, making decisions, and using memory. Then comes output, which is how we respond, like speaking, writing, or moving. And finally, an important idea in this approach is individual differences. This means that not everyone thinks, remembers, or pays attention in the same way. Some people process information faster, some have better memories, and some are more sensitive to noises or emotions. These differences can be caused by our genes, our environment, or both. Cognitive psychologists also compare the brain to a computer. In fact, there's a helpful table that shows how our senses are like a computer's input devices, our brain is like the processor, and our body's reactions are like output devices. Of course, unlike computers, we can guess, feel emotions, and make mistakes, which makes studying humans even more fascinating. Throughout this chapter, we'll look at how this approach explains behavior, including 3 core studies. One explores how doodling helps memory, another investigates how we understand others' thoughts and emotions, and the third looks at how we recognize faces and recall events in court. So buckle up, the cognitive approach is about to show us how our minds really work. See you in the next video.